Hi Hugo Read Raiders. It's Mrs. Brown. I'm glad to see you. Today we're going to read a book called Traveling Butterflies. This is getting to be the time that butterflies migrate down to Mexico, so I thought it would be really fun to read about it. And I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, but the author's name is Susumu Shingu. I think I got that right. Pretty cover. Let's see. Very plain first page. One day in the short summer of a country up north, a tiny creature wakes up. Inside an egg as small as a dewdrop. Wow, a dewdrop is tiny. She eats to grow bigger and bigger, munching on lots of milkweed. Here's the caterpillar. See what color it is? Yellow and black. When she's big enough, she wraps a cocoon around herself, like a veil. When she breaks out, she has changed. So this is what it looks like at the beginning. And then she's making a cocoon, and the cocoon's getting bigger. And look, you can see her starting to turn into a butterfly on the inside. And then here she's breaking out of her cocoon. That's pretty cool. Wow. Her new wings look like stained glass. That's beautiful, isn't it? Now she needs to drink lots of sweet nectar for her long journey. You get nectar from flowers. You can kind of see butterflies have, it's sort of like a tongue almost, and it rolls up, and you can see she's sticking it down into the flowers. Here's her feelers. Those are a little different, her antenna, but this is going way down into the flower to get the nectar. She knows when it's time to take off, riding the southward wind. Sailing over an enormous lake. Wow, that's a long way for a butterfly. Think how small butterflies are. And they go that way just by flying, no airplanes like we would take. Getting splashed by a waterfall. Ooh, that's a beautiful picture. Look at the water coming over as a waterfall. There's a lot of butterflies that are migrating. Busily flying over big cities. Look, now she's over a building. Lots and lots of buildings. Almost looks like that might be New York. The water around it, it's hard to say. Guess it could be Chicago too. And resting under leaves on rainy days. So they use leaves sort of like umbrellas. When it's raining, they go on the bottom side. That would help keep them dry, wouldn't it? It's kind of like a little hiding place for butterflies. She visits villages. A village would be like a smaller than a town would be smaller than a city would be a town, and smaller than a town would be a village. So not too many houses, just a few together. And crosses over rivers and plains. Here's the river. And when it's mostly flat, the ground, it's called a plain. P-L-A-I-N-S. It's called the plains. The southern forest is getting closer and closer. So that's where she wants to go. She's getting close to her final destination, where she finally, wow, look at all these butterflies. They're all migrating. The trees are turning a deeper and deeper orange. Why do you think that is? They're getting covered with butterflies, right? The trees don't really turn orange. The trunk doesn't turn orange, but they get covered with monarch butterflies, so they look orange. Wouldn't that be fun to see that many butterflies in one place? The forest is an ideal place for butterflies to mate. how they get their eggs and they can lay more butterflies. Huddling close, they slumber in peace. Think that helps keep them warm, maybe? They are just all packed together, aren't they? So they can take off again. So when it's time to go back, there they go. The sky is just filled with butterflies. And travel back to the North Country. And then let's read the back, 'cause there's some interesting facts back here. It says more about monarch butterflies. The monarch butterfly is a small species weighing about 0.02 ounces. That's tiny, which you know if you've ever held a butterfly or even like an ant or something, they just don't hardly weigh anything, do they? With a wingspan of about 4 inches. So they're kind of a biggish butterfly. So when both their wings are out from there to there, that would be their wingspan. These tiny creatures migrate great distances every year. Scientists have studied their migration routes by marking their wings and collecting reports of sightings. In the 1970s, the monarch's winter sanctuary was discovered in the mountains of Mexico. So they always go to the mountains in Mexico. Most butterflies live short lives of only 2 to 6 weeks, but mysteriously, the generation of monarchs that migrate south lives a surprising 6 to 8 months. So if they usually only live 2 to 6 weeks, and then they live 6 to 8 months, wow, which would be 24 to 32 weeks. So they go from maybe living 2 weeks to 24 weeks. That's a huge difference, isn't it? So the ones that fly all the way to Mexico live a lot longer than the other ones do. They start flying south from Canada and the northernmost parts of the United States at summer's end and reach Mexican forests after 2 months of flying, covering nearly 2,500 miles. After spending the winter in Mexico, the monarchs begin the return trip north in the spring. The butterflies born in the south usually live 2 to 6 weeks. So the ones that fly to Mexico live much longer. They live the entire trip down. But when they're coming back up, they don't live the entire trip. They go back to only living 2 to 6 weeks. So listen to this. This means it can take 3 or 4 generations of monarchs to make the trip back to their northern home. Researchers aren't sure how new generations of monarchs know how to fly the same route and find the same forests every year. There's still so much to learn about these traveling butterflies. So that would be like if one butterfly started traveling north from Mexico, and then it would only live 2 to 6 weeks, and it would die, then the ones that they hatched would be like their children. They would start flying again. And the ones that they hatched, they would start flying again. But all of them know how to get back to where they're going. It's kind of crazy. So that is pretty interesting about butterflies and about them going to Mexico, I thought. So this is kind of getting to be the time that monarchs in Canada and the northern states would start flying down to Mexico. So if you want to do some more research about monarchs migration, that could be something you could look up on the computer. It'd be pretty cool, I think. I bet they'd also have some pictures of all the butterflies down in Mexico and probably how they just cover things and things really do look orange. So I hope you enjoyed the book. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.